Welcome gamers! Today we're going to check out a recently released arcade-inspired 3D racing game called Horizon Chase Turbo. So this game was developed by the Brazilian game studio Aquiris. I hope I pronounced that right. And so the game pays homage to a number of classic arcade racing game series, including the San Francisco Rush and Outrun series, among others. And what's really cool about this game is that you can race in locales all over the world, from Brazil to Japan to South Africa and even Hawaii, among many others. But being as I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area myself, I figured we'd check out the tracks on the California map first. So now let's talk about the cars a little. So the vehicles in Horizon Turbo each have their own unique advantages and disadvantages based on top speed, acceleration abilities, handling capabilities, fuel capacity, and nitrogen boost. And so the game offers several modes of play, including a World Tour, Tournament, and Endurance modes, all of which can be played in split-screen local multiplayer mode as well. And of course there's leaderboards, so you can see where you rank against others. At present, there's a total of 31 vehicles that can be unlocked in the game and 109 tracks to race on. And so I had a chance to test this game out with both the Xbox One and Xbox 360 controllers and Windows. And I have to say the controls are pretty spot on. I just wish I had a racing wheel to play with. I bet this would be a lot of fun with one. So there's also the bonus of an added ghost car that you can toggle on and off before each race. And there's supposedly an online ghost mode where you can race against friends. That's something I haven't tested out much yet. We might cover that in a later video. And so ironically, the game's music was developed by the same sound designer behind the music scores for other 90s game titles such as Lotus Turbo Challenge and Top Gear. Yes, Barry Leitch. To be honest, I had mixed feelings about the music in this game though. Some of it I really liked, while some of it I really didn't care for at all. Though for those who do like the soundtrack, it can be purchased along with the game on Steam as well. So you collect coins throughout each race to unlock new locales and new vehicles to race with. And you can also notice that there's fuel canisters. Yes, you could run out of fuel in this game as well. In the early stages, like in the California maps, you don't typically run out of fuel much. In fact, there's so many fuel canisters available, it's kind of hard to miss them. In the later stages, it really gets tough. I actually did run out of fuel in some of the South American tracks. And so you have limited sight distance in this game, and that takes you back to the actual Outrun series. That was a hallmark of the original Outrun back in the 1980s. Limited sight distance around dips and turns and sharp curves. Definitely not to the extent that we saw in the more original titles like the Turbo Outrun. That you really had to learn the tracks, otherwise you were just going to crash repeatedly over and over and over again. But that's very, very familiar with a lot of the classic racing games. And so the only one real issue that I really had with this game was the fact that you can't change the view perspectives. So you have a third-person view, which I think is great. I think it's very effective for this game. But it would be really nice to toggle between different perspectives of view during gameplay. Maybe have a first-person perspective. That would be nice as well. Maybe that's a feature they could add at a later time. So that's something to think about. Anyways, it's honestly nice to see a new arcade-inspired racer like this hit the scene, especially given that most modern racing games are more based on realism these days. But I'm one of those who prefer the more arcade-like experience, to be honest. Then again, I grew up during the days of the classic arcades, so go figure. So far this looks like to be a pretty well-rounded racing game. It really does take you back to the days of Outrun Coast to Coast, Outrun 2006. The gameplay feels a lot like that. When the vehicles flip over when you crash, the effects are very similar to that of the Rush series. And I do like that you have all these changing environments. I can't imagine what all these 109 tracks look like. I've only unlocked 3 locales so far. You know, then again, I just got started with this game myself. But it is a lot of fun to play. And it gets incredibly challenging. Although I have to admit, the first few stages, they were so easy, I thought, oh no, this game's not going to be any good. All the tracks are going to be like this. There was just no challenge to the first few stages. But as the game progresses, it becomes progressively more difficult. It really does. But if you're a fan of the classic Outrun series, I would recommend giving this game a try. Definitely worth it. It's about $20 on Steam. It's also available on PS4, and it's going to be coming to the Xbox One and Switch later this year. Although I don't believe that there is any definitive date yet for an exact launch date on those systems. I'll try to keep you guys updated as things develop on that end. And see, you can see here we're racing through the streets of Los Angeles. This is really cool stuff. And in a few minutes here, we're going to check out, I think, the Death Valley map as well. That was actually one of my favorites so far. And so a lot of it is like off-road racing too. You know, don't be fooled. It's not all street racing. Some of it is there's snow in some maps. There's dirt tracks and stuff like that. So there's really a good variety of environments for each of the stages of this game. And so the vehicles, you kind of get a feel for them over time. Some have, some are faster than others. Some have a longer nitro boost. Some are better around corners. Some just have more speed. This is a pretty well balanced car. This one right here. This is probably my favorite so far. Although I've unlocked several new cars as well. I'm gonna probably cover those in an updated video. And this is nothing. I mean, these tracks, like, you get into the later stages of the South American tracks for Brazil and Chile, and it's, I'm telling you what, it's extremely challenging. It just very sharp turns. You don't see them coming. Extremely limited sight distance in some of the end tracks for those stages. And of course, bumping into other cars, that will slow you down. It does hurt your time. And another thing to note is that just like the Outrun series, the cars in this game, your opponents, they are actually pretty aggressive. They will try to ram you off the road. Yes, a lot of times they will try to block your path. They will ram you from behind. They will actually come up from behind you, ram in the back of your car. They will always try to knock you out. So that's one of the more challenging aspects of this game. Because if you remember back, during the days of Turbo Outrun, you had, your opponent was this Porsche. And the Porsche would always try to ram you out of the way, leave you in the dust. So it's a very similar feel to that. So you can see we've got San Francisco, Sequoia National Park, Los Angeles. They cover quite a few sub-locales for each locale that you check out. So now we're in Death Valley. This is really cool. I really like this track. This is another car I really like. It looks kind of like a Porsche. It's got this giant spoiler on it. This track is a little bit harder. You can see the vehicles they really want to block you in. And like I said, every time that you come in contact with another vehicle, it really does hurt the clock. It does hurt your time. Sometimes getting around the sharper turns in the stages, it's just a matter of letting off the gas or just tapping the brake at the right moment. And another thing that I noticed too is that if you can turn early enough, you can spare yourself. Sometimes you just have to turn early to really get around the more sharper curves. You see, I just ran into that post right there. Pick up some fuel. See, this is getting tougher. And, you know, the cars, they don't just look different, they feel different in play. They really do. Oh, and another thing, too, you can upgrade your vehicles in this game. You can upgrade, yeah, you get suspension upgrades, turbo and speed upgrades, motor upgrades. It's really cool. You have to unlock a few achievements in order to access them. And they'll usually give you one choice. You'll get one choice for an upgrade. You have to choose. I upgraded the turbo on all my vehicles. I thought that was more fitting. I think the cars have pretty decent controls as far as turning capabilities, so I kind of passed that one up for now. So anyways, that is Horizon Turbo Chase. Definitely do check it out on Steam. It is available now. It's been out for a very short time. Like I said, it's going to be coming to the Xbox One and the Nintendo Switch later this year. Anyways, many thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest videos. And if you get a chance, do check out Gamers Bay Community on Google Plus from the link below in the description. Many thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.